All right, well, as that crucial Eurozone meeting continues to discuss Greece's fate, we can speak now to Schick. She's an EU policy analyst who works for the think tank Open Europe. Thanks for coming into the studio. All sorts of problems with these talks at the moment. Firstly, there's a huge lack of trust between Greece and its creditors. And secondly, the Eurozone countries discussing the proposal seem to be very split on where to go from here.
Yes, I mean, there are two main camps. One camp led by Germany and indeed Finland and the Baltic countries are very hard on Greece, saying that we can't write off the debt, we can't ease the conditions of austerity. And interestingly, France, which is of course the other leader of the big European project, Germany aside, has been saying we should loosen the conditions for Greece. Indeed, we should give them some debt relief. And that is for their own domestic political reasons. I mean, France has been pushing for looser fiscal targets in the Eurozone as a whole because their economy has trouble as well. So it's interesting to see how Berlin and Paris are lining up on this, and of course that has implications for the future of the Eurozone as well.
Yeah, it's never great, is it, when France and Germany aren't thinking with the same thoughts. They're, you know, on opposing sides because they lead the way. They do lead the way, don't they?
Absolutely, yes. And they're the two main countries in the Eurozone, and, you know, those are the two kind of founders of the European project as it exists. So it's interesting to hear also that, you know, France sent over a team of French experts to Greece to help them put together this third bailout package request. And apparently Merkel, the German chancellor, only found out after it was reported in the press. So there have been tensions there. I will say, however, that most of the Eurozone is on Germany's side on this, and not just because they want to line up behind the Eurozone's principal paymaster, but because they fundamentally believe that Greece shouldn't have looser conditions. I mean, if you look at the Baltic states, their austerity poster children, if you will, they went through this reform process. They went through the hard structural reforms that Greece hasn't done yet. So they're saying, why should we loosen conditions for Greece? And more importantly, after successive bailouts of Greece, what has happened is that Greek debt has essentially been shifted into the Eurozone. So the Eurozone holds most of Greek debt. So if you give Greece debt relief, which indeed it needs because its debt is unsustainable, the Eurozone taxpayer is ultimately paying, and that's illegal according to the law of how the euro has been structured and created.
Well, the legal situation is quite interesting because, of course, today we've heard news out of Germany that the German finance ministry did indeed discuss the idea amongst themselves. Anyway, they discussed the idea of whether or not Greece could exit the euro for a limited time, say 5 years. Is that legally and economically possible?
Well, of course, we're entering very uncharted territory here. And even before the referendum was held, when there were suggestions on the side of the Eurozone that this referendum would essentially be a vote on whether or not Greece will remain in the euro, you know, Varoufakis, the then finance minister of Greece, was saying, well, it's illegal to push us out. So, you know, there are no conditions for a country leaving the Eurozone. And that's for political reasons. It was always created as a project which was primarily a political one, which the economic conditions to make that single currency work, as we're seeing now in Greece, weren't in place. So that's very interesting. Of course, from the German perspective, saying that Brexit is going to happen and it's final and you're out and you can't join again is contentious. So by saying, well, you know, this is just a temporary thing, we'll leave them outside for 5 years and perhaps they can join again once they've undergone the structural reforms they need, that will win Schäuble points back home in Germany.
This is going to drag on, certainly into Sunday. Schick,
yes.
Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.